My name is Matham Ik Sirva. I write this from the ancient Tower of Annals in old Mecatol City. Since inheriting the duties of the Chronicle from my father, I have enjoyed the inspiring views of great buildings, ancient towers, and the bright lights of life that stretch into the distance. Yet, like the shadow at my feet, I can never escape or forget the lethally finite borders of this city. Less than 1,000 leagues from my tower, great shields protect us from the poisonous dust that is the Sea of Desolation, the terrible wasteland that covers most of the planet. My people, the Winarans, have kept this city safe for more than 3,000 years. Ever since the time of the Great Scourge, we have been the caretakers of the Imperial Throne, the Imperial Records, and the Galactic Council here on Mecatol Rex. We have indeed been faithful to the promise that we made to the last Emperor. My hands tremble as I write this, for events are now unfolding which I believe to be the harbinger of great change. I foresee that our custodianship will come to an end in my lifetime. This is why I have contacted you. I will seek to give you a brief yet true summary of the recent history of our galaxy. I give this to you because I know that you will spread this knowledge far and wide. As we enter the dangerous years before us, I fear that the galaxy shall have great need of the past. It is told that the Lazax emperors arose from the ashes of the Mahakt kings. Little is known of their early ascension, but it is impossible to deny that the Lazax must have been a profoundly intelligent, benevolent, and wise people. After their rise to power, we know that the Lazax chose the central planet of Mecatol Rex as their homeworld. The year the Lazax first arrived on Mecatol Rex is recorded in the Imperial Chronicle as First, and marks the beginning of my account. For ages, the borders of the Lazax Empire expanded outward. As inhabited systems were discovered and annexed into the Empire, the Lazax allowed these newfound civilizations to join the Galactic Council, the governing body that represented the needs and voices of the Empire's people. The great races, Exja, Hakan, Letnev, Hylar, Human, and Nor, were all represented in the Council, as were hundreds of lesser civilizations and independent systems. Yet, as the years passed, discoveries of new civilizations and planetary systems slowed. Little by little, the mood of the Empire changed as technological and intellectual growth abated. Craving constant advancement, the great races began to look to the power of the Lazax and the resources of their neighbors. Greed and ambition grew in the hearts of statesmen and counselors. The once noble spirit of the Empire turned suspicious and fearful. It is during this time that the first conflicts between the great races are recorded in the Imperial Chronicle. The Galactic Council became a seedbed of intrigue, and the turmoil ushered in the time of spies and assassins. First in secret, and later in public, the great races began to build their fleets and armies. Many embarked on territorial expansion that extended beyond their original charter. Border strife and resourceful disputes proliferated, gnawing at the very foundations of the Empire. This was a time of growing darkness, now known as the Age of Dusk. Throughout most of this age, the Lazax still held authority without question. Except for a few minor and unsuccessful rebellions, few dared to openly challenge the emperors. Blinded by millennia of unchallenged rule, the Lazax could not perceive the mounting ambition and discontent that grew around them. As centuries passed, tensions between the great races grew deeper, and so did their desire for power and control. In the end, hatred was their only common ground. Hatred for the Lazax, imperial rule, and for the benevolent arrogance of the emperors. A small affair near the Quan wormhole was the spark that would set the galaxy aflame. Protesting imperial trade oversight, the Baron of Letnev began a blockade of traffic through the Quan wormhole. Because the prickly Letnev had often been troublesome, an unconcerned and unhurried emperor sought to solve the conflict through the Galactic Council. However, the blockade obstructed significant soul trading activities, and prevented vital supplies from reaching a handful of soul colonies that soon were struck by famine and disease. After nearly 8 months of fruitless debate in the Galactic Council, the patience of the Soul Federation ran dry. Without warning, the blockading Letnev ships were attacked and annihilated by a Sol task force acting without Imperial mandate, and the Quan Passage was reopened. Angered by the unilateral militancy of both Letnev and Sol, the Emperor attempted to consolidate his control by issuing the Mandu Edict, a rule that would place all warships under direct Imperial supervision. The Mandu Edict was the stone that shattered the brittle empire. The Letnev, Sol, and Jolnar civilizations announced their immediate withdrawal from the Council, drawing the galaxy into civil war. The Quan conflict marks the beginning of the Age of Twilight. As civilization fought civilization, as 1,000 territorial disputes erupted over a few short years, the Lazax desperately sought to hold together their crumbling empire. Imperial fleets fought across the galaxy, but their power was ultimately stretched too thin. In the 73rd year of the war, an alliance of Sol, Jolnar, and Hakan launched a surprise attack on Mecatol Rex itself. The last Lazax emperor and his entire family were killed during the first Sol bombardments, and no successor was named. Of all the planets in the galaxy, no planet was more war-torn than Mecatol Rex. Over the course of only a few years, the planet's ecology was ravaged by bombardments, its population nearly wiped out, and its green fields blasted into a toxic wasteland. After the death of the Emperor and the loss of the throne world, Imperial control collapsed. The Lazax became hunted across the galaxy in the vengeful wave of murder that is now known as the Great Scourge. Lasting only 20 years, the Scourge resulted in the near-complete annihilation of the Lazax race. Until recently, no Lazax has been seen in the galaxy for more than 3,000 years. The Twilight Wars continued for centuries, but no race was powerful enough to seize the throne and risk suffering a similar fate as the Emperor. Slowly, the strength of great civilizations failed as their economies crumbled and knowledge and technology were lost in the destruction and strain of long war. And so the Age of Twilight ended in a slow whisper. The time that followed, now known as the Dark Years, was a period of economic, cultural, and intellectual collapse. The great races retreated into their own small, safe areas of space, abandoning what they could no longer hold by force. After several millennia, the Dark Years came to an end, and a calm but uncertain period of rebuilding began. As I write this, the great races of the galaxy have regained elements of their former strength. Here on Mecatol Rex, the Galactic Council is growing in influence once more, while civilizations new and old are recolonizing the neighborhood systems abandoned during the Dark Years. Signs of great change are everywhere. This year, as if walking out of an ancient prophecy, the Lazax returned from the darkness of history in a foreboding, cybernetic form. To me, their coming is like the first wind of a terrible storm. I feel as if the galaxy is waking, as if an ancient beast stirs from slumber in a dark cave. The day will soon come when a new empire will rise. For the sake of all, may the new emperor not only have the power to seize the throne, but the strength to conquer the peace. If not, I fear that a sea of desolation will drown us all.